you and share. And as always, today we're gonna talk about heart maps and opinion statements. We have to start our session off right. So if you have your virtual composition book, go ahead and grab that. If you want to need it, it's on your resource guide. Or if you just have a piece of paper and just like to write like I do, I like that pencil to paper feeling. You can definitely do that. And with it being the Thanksgiving month, I have a quote for you to ponder on before you start your 2-minute write. The more you practice the art of Thanksgiving, the more you have to be thankful. Let me do that again. The more you practice the art of thankfulness, the more you have to be thankful for. So, with it being November and our Thanksgiving month, I'd like for you to take 2 minutes to ponder and write about this quote, what feelings it brings out, what it makes you think of, or just write about what you're thankful for. So, I'm going to give us 2 minutes to start our session off right. Formation, when you think about your thinking, we choose a golden line. We choose a golden line to give our students that intentional opportunity to read through what they've written and to look for what they think's good, what they think's important. When you found that golden line, just drop it in the chat for us. Excited to see some of your responses. And now I like to journal each morning, so this was my prompt that I had for myself today. I wrote about it as well. And it took me back to a time where I was able to show some thankfulness and how it made me feel. So I'm excited to hear your golden lines. That golden line as a teacher allows me to kind of see what my students' thinking are. If I use it in that academic setting, I am looking to see, are they really selecting? Are they telling me what I want to hear? Are they giving me that main ideas? Oh, it is so beautiful to start our session thinking about the wonderful blessings that we have and to be thankful. I love that about November. So, as we move on, this is also something, we like for our 2-minute writes to be connected to our content, but sometimes it's nice to just write about the way you feel because this is a great SEL thing. So, I'm going to take a moment as we grow together. I don't have anything to share with you, but I would love if one of you would unmute and share a writing experience that they've had in their classroom lately. If you'd like, I definitely want to open up that space. And if you don't want to unmute and share about an experience that you've had,
We
then okay.
we
Yes.
started using the quote sandwich, and I'm using it with 4th and 5th graders, and the sentence starters have been really helpful in developing what they're writing and just to kind of make their writing sound more developed, more clear, easier to understand, and more mature, if that's the right word. I don't know. It's the end of the day. I'm tired, but
I
their
think
writing
that's
sounds so much better with using that strategy and those sentence starters.
wonderful. Thank you for sharing. I appreciate that so much. Anyone else want to share? I also got to go into a classroom and use the quote sandwich, and we made sandwiches like I did with my class when I was back in the day, and it was really, they got to really talk about, oh, I got to find the meat, I got to find my quote. So it gave them that visual and then something to hang on to. And you're right, their writing did become more sophisticated, more mature. So thank you for sharing that. And please, we grow together, we learn from one another. So thank you for opening that up and opening up our horizons with that. Okay. So we talked about claim. We left our last session with someone really wanting to work on claims. So I thought, let's dive a little deeper. So we're going to get to the heart of claims. We're going to get to the reason we have opinions, the reason we argue. They are purposeful. And so when we create those opinion statements, it is what's important to us. So, as a writer, as a person who's going to form an opinion essay or an opinion argument, or connect what I'm thinking to evidence from a text, I really have to know me. I have to know what's important to me. And I do have to shout out my counterpart in the writing project, Bridget Talby. This is one of her favorite activities. And she's like, Kim, you got to share this with them. I was like, I'll do it. So here's an example of writing from the heart. Now, why we do this is because I now have an entire list of things that are meaningful to my students. I now have, when I say, okay, I want you to take what we read about in social studies today, and I want you to connect it to your life. And they're like, oh, I don't know anything about myself. Yes, you do. You have a heart map. So, and it's just the things that we do in our free time. It's the people we care about. It's the places we go or want to go. So, the reason that heart maps are so important and the way we do them is we want our students to be writers. So if we want our students to be writers, we have to make them feel like they are. And you know what? Writers have a collection of things they write about. They have a collection of things that inspire them. And our heart map is things that they do that inspire me. Great writers need to know what inspires them. And all of our students are great writers. We are great writers. So, one of the important things about really making the heart map meaningful is that our students see you creating a heart map, or you share your heart map with them. So, guess what? We're going to create our own heart map. So, if you will go to your resource page and click on the slide deck that says heart map, here's what you're going to see. You're going to see a heart, and it tells you to use text boxes to create a heart map. And we want the heart map to really put in there the people we care about, what we like to do in our free time, what's our favorite memories. Because if I can call on those favorite memories, that's my background knowledge. So I can use this in every content area. So grab a heart, and they go all the way. I have copied 80 of them to make sure that I have enough. So go all the way, grab your heart, use you some text boxes, and create your heart map. Think about people that you love that's in your life. Think about the places you go. Think about what you like to do in your free time. If you forget what the categories are, you can slide right back up to the top and it tells you. And I will drop that in there again. So I'm going to be quiet. And no, that's hard for me. I'm going to be quiet. And I'm going to give you about 4 minutes to just fill your heart map, because this is your inspiration and this is your background knowledge. So think about those great memories you want to add in there. So I'm going to give you 4 minutes to fill your heart with your memories. Map out your heart. What inspires you? Hey, I can't resist. I've got to check out a few of them. We have to. Oh, look at there. Love it. Look at all these beautiful things that you all have put in there. Now, I know, oh, Sunday dinners. Yes, that's one of my favorite times too. I know that 4 minutes is nowhere near enough time to really get to work on this, but it gives us a start. It gives us an opportunity. Not only does it, stockpile some ideas for me to inspire my writing, not only does it give me a bank of background knowledge, but it gives me a chance to for my students to get to know me, for them to see me as a human, and for me to get to know them. I had so many wonderful connections that I made with my students because of the heart map. I want to show you, I want you to look at number 5. Now, I use these all year long. And I started out, I laminated them all because, back and forth, it was, a paper skip. Then the wonderful world of computers came to be, and I took a picture of them and I put them on a slide deck so my students could pull up the slide deck and get to their heart maps anytime they needed to. So that's something that, can easily be kept in a Google Classroom. So before we move forward, what are your thoughts? What do you think about this activity? Just a few moments to reflect. Because we, in our 3-5 band, K5 band, sorry, our students are writing opinions. They're writing opinions, so they really have to know what they think. And I have the template, and I meant to connect it to the reference guide. So when we end our session, I will connect it. So if you want to pull that template up and use it in your class, it'll be right there at your fingertips. All right. So now that we've kind of got to the heart of the matter, I want to talk some more about claims. And I want you to take a look at a few of these claims here and just think about, what do you notice about these claims? So what I would like for you to do, we're going to take 2 minutes. I want you just to flood this this chat box with things that you notice about the claims. And I love, Jennifer, that you added things they didn't like on the outside. That's just another layer to it. To be honest with you, when I had them in my classroom, I did layer onto it. That kind of, those 4 are just that bare bone, but it's to get them started. So as I went through my year, and I came upon things in social studies I really wanted to hit on, like especially when we started talking about geography and settlements. I would really hone in on their surroundings. Like, I want you to put on your heart things you love about your surroundings. Do you have caves near your house? Is there a creek? So it's a great place to start, but a wonderful way to layer. So thank you for jogging my memory of that. I appreciate that. So as I start our timer, I really want you just to put as much as you can. What do you notice about these claims? What do you notice about the how they're written? They see. So I'm going to be quiet for 2 minutes, I promise, and let you all flood the chat box. chat box with that. I love that you noticed the word should in that because we're going to talk about that a little bit later on. We're really just going to dive in and think about claims today and claim statements and claims being your opinion because I know my students are going to be asked. We're actually not going to watch that right now. We're going to move right on just for sake of time. But in effect, it's in there. So if you ever want to, a little bit more, it's there, but we're not going to watch it. Just an effective argument. And we want our arguments to be effective. Start with an opinion statement, also known as a claim. Our claim needs to be clear, a sentence that readers will easily grasp. It needs to have a topic and a focus equals an opinion statement. What a great formula. Topic plus focus equals an opinion statement. And that topic is who we're writing about. And the focus is that feeling. Now, since it's deer hunting season, I don't know if you have any hunters out there. My son's obsessed with it, so I had to. Most hunters is the topic. Our friends of the environment. That's my focus. So that's my opinion. So instead of using should, I put in that word most. Talk a little bit about that later on. So when I'm making an opinion, there are some categories of opinion statements. When you think about creating an argument or defending a claim, we kind of put them in some categories. I think, okay, is this helpful? Is it helpful? Does this opinion keep me safe? Can I prove this opinion? Should it be done or should it not be done? So these are kind of when I'm thinking about what kind of argument I'm going to make, I really need to think about what opinion am I trying to defend? Do I want this to lean towards is something helpful? Is it something that keeps me safe? Can I prove it or should it be done? So we're going to read some opinions. Okay. So I want you to think, what is at the heart of this? Is this opinion statement written to be helpful? Does it keep me safe? That should be, I can prove it. I left that out, forgive. Should it be done or should it not be done? All right. So I believe that recess is one of the most important parts of the school day. Would you put in the chat which category you think this goes into? What is this? I believe recess is one of the most important parts of the day. What number are we seeing here? Ooh, I'm seeing a lot of fours. If you're popping in that 4, you're exactly right. It's something that it should be done. Now, I agree. I saw a 3 in there, and you know what? I think I can prove that. But right off the bat, I'm like, this is something that should be done. We know this. This is something should be done. Thank you very much. Let's try another one. I think everyone should learn about voting and how it helps us make important decisions in our community. What do you think? Is it helpful? Does it keep me safe? Can I prove it? It should be done or it should not be done. What do you think? What do you think? This one is one of those that kind of straddle that line. It is a number one, it's helpful because knowing, it has the word help in it, so it is helpful. But I think this also could be a number 3. I think I can prove this. That, well, and I say everyone should know. That gets a little sticky when I'm coming to prove that. We're going to talk about that in a bit. Okay. I believe walking, not running in the hallway is important. What do you think? That's my claim. What do you think? Which one does this hit? I believe walking, not running in the hallway is important. Oh, it does keep me safe, although I don't like to do it sometimes because I'm in a hurry and I feel like I need to run, but it does keep me safe. Yes. The American Revolution was a really important event in history because it showed how people can stand up for their rights and fight for freedom. What do you think? Is it helpful? Does it keep me safe? I can prove it. It should be done or it should not be done. Oh, I'm seeing those through number threes. Yes, ma'am. And gentlemen, you can prove this. Absolutely. Usually, recess is one of the most important parts of the day. Usually, recess is one of the most important parts of the school day. It's a tough one. I think this one reads tough because it has that word usually. If I take out that usually and I say recess is one of the most important parts of the school day, I think this is another one that teeters between it should be done and I think it is helpful. So I think 1 in 4 hits it. Boston Tea Party was a turning point in American history because it showed how the colonists were willing to take bold actions to protest unfair laws. Where does it fall? Think you all got this one. This is a heavy 3. This is, I can prove this. I can prove that. In most cases, students should be allowed to skip recess to finish their work. This is a tricky one. I think that is a definite 4. Could you argue that it could be a 1? I'm Jordan, I'm with you. I think it could be argued that it could be 1 because if I look at it this way, remember, we have that 2 sides to every coin. We have that point of view that is skipping recess helpful because it gets me caught up on my work. So, depends on how you want to argue that because opinions can vary. What would change this for me would be the research I have behind it. I think having a homework buddy really helps us understand our assignment better. What do you think? Oh, I'm seeing some ones. I agree. This is going to help me. Students should do 15 minutes of reading a night because it helps with their fluency. Okay, this is really straddles the fence. This is definitely, I think, a 1 because it is helpful and it does have that help in it, but I can prove this. So it could also be a 3. And I could also put it in that category. It should be done. We all know if you read, yes, 1 3 4, I'm all the way. What what makes it what would take it to the next level to where I could really qualify it into that category is the direction I want to take it, the research and the evidence that I want to use to support my claim, because I can prove that. So if I want to take that approach, then I can get research journals and articles that support that and take evidence from that. If I want to prove that it is just helpful, then I could look for different articles that talks about the benefits of fluency. And both of those type articles can be used to prove number 4. So the opinion that I take, and I go back to my heart. So my heart is going to take this opinion to decide what research I do. So see how it's all connected. It's that beautiful circle. So we talked about, and you all put a lot um, of should in there, and usually, and maybe, and often, and probably. Those are qualifier words. So that's important for us to use in an opinion statement because it makes it easier to support. Well, if I would have said all hunters, that's going to be really, really hard for me to prove because there's always going to be that one person out there that's going to, disprove you. But using these qualifiers allows me to make an opinion claim that I can back. I mean, I can support it. When I don't use a qualifier, it kind of takes it off the page. So we have some claim frames here. Love them. And we go back to that word should not in there because that helps me form my opinion. Care about, I go back to my heart. We should care about. That goes back to my heart writing. That's why it's so important. And then some say. But we're going to dive into this a little bit. So would you, on your resource guide, would you go to practice opinion statements? And it should ask you to make a copy, and I'm keeping my fingers crossed that it does. If it doesn't, I will fix it. It should look like this right here. So I'm giving you some topics. I've got your qualifiers up there, and I've got your sentence frames. But I want you to make some claims or opinion statements about the executive branch. And I want you to make that statement of the executive branch to where I can prove it, to where it keeps, then class rules, make it a claim to where it keeps you safe. Oh, it does ask you to make a copy. That's always the best news ever because I'm always scared to death about that. It says it should be done. I'm going back to that recess one because I just can't help but love it. And then cell phones, it shouldn't be done. I want an opinion statement about that. Exercise, it's helpful. Make an opinion statement about that. And then I'm leaving that bottom one for you to think about your class, your content, what's coming up, what would be a good opinion statement for your kids to work on. So again, I'm going to do that very hard thing of being quiet. I am going to give you 5 minutes to really make those statements and let me know how that feels. So if everyone's on the document, I'll go ahead and start our time. So please drop one of your favorite opinion statements in the chat. Drop one of your favorite opinion statements in the chat. Let's share. Oh. Oh, love it, Brooke. Drop one of those opinion statements that you wrote in the chat. I've got one, Brooke's got one about cell phones. Oh, students should study the American Revolution. Ah, very good. What other opinions? Did anyone have an opinion on how exercise is helpful? Oh, classroom rules. That's your. Oh, yes, recess should be more than one time a day. That is your claim. Amber, I think you can prove that if anyone will listen. I agree. Oh, we should care about classroom rules. I love how you use that claim starter. I hope that you all took the opportunity to kind of practice out those claim starters. And in my class, I would pick just a couple of them, maybe the should or should not. And I would just put my students in situations where they had to respond to me that way. Give them things that they can write their opinion about. Give them opportunities to share their opinion, and that way they realize they have this great little voice and they are thinkers, and we really want thinkers. It's important. So we are going to talk a little bit about Oreos today. And I don't know if y'all have had any supper. You might be hungry like me. I'm a sweets junkie. But Oreos kind of helps us with that opinion writing. It's the opinion, then it's the reason and or an example, and then an opinion. So when we think about an opinion writing, so my opinion, the reason I have it, an example, and I'm going to just restate that opinion again, kind of smush it all between that nice two cookies. Here we go is one in real life, and this is not one this is a fun one. So this is a topic about, best places to go for the weekend. Fortunately, for them, these people live close to the beach, but I really want you to look at the layout. The reason and an example. A reason and an example. And then, in my opinion. So it smushes it all together and it makes it really nice. It's not that list of reasons. It's really easy for our students to list reasons. They can do that. It is the example that we find their voice. It is in the example where we find their voice, where we find their thinking, where we find their commentary. So if you would again, we're going to expand our claim. Okay. So one of our quotes that we said that we could prove is the American Revolution is an important event in history. It shows how people can stand up for themselves. I have you some reasons it shows how people can stand up for themselves. I want you to add an example or an explanation. So we're going to do a little bit. We're going to do reason, explanation, reason, explanation. If you will, access your expand. We're going to do reasons. So I'm giving you the reasons and explanations, and I'm going to copy this slide. And I should have already done that. I'm going to copy this slide and I'm going to pop it in here. Oh, we don't want to do that. Let's see. I'm going to pop it in here. And that way you have, well, let me try that again. Okay, that way you have the reasons there. So again, the R is my reason. The E is my example. And, okay, so, and then I'm going to put my reason explanation. My R is my reason, my E is my explanation. I'm going to go back and get another reason and another explanation, and then I'm going to say that claim a different way. All right? Reason, explanation, reason, explanation, say that claim another way. Have we got it? Find you a slide. I have 80 of them. Feel free to, and I'm going to put a couple of these on down through here so you will have more than one. So on slide 13, I've also got the reasons if you want to go down and grab there. Put some on slide 21. I'm going to go ahead and add that there and let you do a reason explanation, reason explanation. Okay, grab a slide, pick you a reason why the American Revolution showed how people can stand up for their rights to fight for freedom. Okay, so I'm going to go back. I want my reason, my explanation, my reason, explanation. So we will go about, let's work about 4 minutes here. And I'm going to add a 4-minute timer to keep us on track. Try to get your reason, explanation, about 4 minutes. There's our reasons. How can you explain it? our reason and our explanation. And if you need to take away my R's and E's, that's fine. We want a reason, an explanation, a reason, an explanation. We want them paired. If I'm giving you a reason, which is my evidence, I want that paired with my explanation or an example. And it makes this beautiful paragraph. Gives me reason, explanation, reason, explanation. I want to take one of the reasons here and I want to explain why that connects to my claim. I want to take another reason and I want to explain why that connects to my claim. And then I want to take my claim and I want to say it a different way. I always encourage when I give a claim like this, that's definitely not how my students would say it. So I always like them to close it up by how would you say this? And you put this in your words. When I am teaching opinion, when I am teaching reasoning, I do and the explanation is their reasoning. I do start off giving them a claim because I want them to know what does a good claim look like? I do start out giving them the reasons, the support, because really what I want is their explanation. I'm looking to build that up because if my students are weak in finding reasons, that'll be a little bit easier for me to teach than if they're weak in that explanation. So I kind of want to take that burden off of them to where they can really focus on just explaining. Because again, if we think about our truly, if we look at, I have to look and see what you all have done. Yeah, I just love to see your work. Anybody get any reasoning and explain? And I may not have given you enough time. Oh, we got one here. Oh, very good. They did that hit and run strategy, and the way they did this, they were fighting for their own land. They knew their own land. They were comfortable with their own land. Here's another one. Ah, we got an example there. For example. So we have the evidence. Here's another one. So I want your thoughts. What are your thoughts on that reason, explanation, um, giving that support, sharing that claim? What are your thoughts? And please feel free to unmute.
I really liked it. I teach on demand with my fifth graders. An explanation piece is always very challenging for the kids. So we're always trying to get them to dig a little bit deeper and use those keywords like you've given us. So I think it's really good.
And it's really when I've given them, like I'm give them that claim for the majority of the first semester, and then I start pulling back away from it the second semester. And I really just focus on them explaining their work. It is a beautiful body of paragraph, and I don't promote the 3.5 paragraph. It's not that authentic writing that I want my students to do, but giving them that reasoning and having them explain, that's what I want. And I want for every reason you give me an explanation for it. That pushes them onto that level.
We've noticed, and just adding to what you've said, we've noticed it helps to tell the kids with the reasoning is how is it going to affect me in present time? And then to elaborate, how is it going to affect me in the future? So that's been really beneficial to help build with their reasoning and their thinking.
And another thing, throw those categories in there. Say, is this, something that's going to help me? Is this something that's going to keep me safe? Is this something, connect those emotions to it too. And that also helps them to dive a little deeper because it pushes them to look at the topic a little bit differently. If I'm thinking about the importance of the Revolutionary War, well, how did that help me? Well, I'm living in this great free country where I have, this beautiful Declaration of Independence that's governing me. So that's how it helped me. So that's where I want them to see it's creating those categories and using that heart map helps make it relevant to my students. Because then I can always say, when I'm working on something like this, pull out your heart map. Now tell me what you have on your heart map that connects to this claim. So now I've got some emotion into it. I've got some buy-in. They can see what is happening in their heart with what we're talking about in history. And that really pushes their writing to that next level. So, would you put in the chat one thing that you would like to try this week that we've talked about today? Let's see what we want to make that commitment to. So I'm so glad that you all like the heart map. If you do a heart map, if you will email it, take a picture of it, email it to me. I would love to show these our next time. Um, I love the heart map. You might think, oh, well, now we don't have time for that. You don't have time not to do that. It is so valuable. So thank you all. I have loved being here with you. I look forward to our time together tomorrow. Are there any questions? If not, Jamie, I will turn it over to you.
Thank you so much, Kim. I just dropped the evaluation there in the chat, and I think we all agree that we love the heart map. I think I would love to do that for myself. So that was awesome. Unless you guys have anything else, you're free to go. I hope you have a great evening, and I'll stay here if you have any questions about anything. We are excited about the recipe or the cookbook, and I've already started working on that. So I know you guys are excited about it too, but don't forget to get those submitted. And I don't think there's anything else, and I'll be here till everybody's gone. Thank you all.